The movie opens with a young man, a content creator for a YouTube channel, tilting his head on the chair and rubbing his eyes. Expressing his tiredness, he continues to explain his theory about the moon, but continuously gets distracted when he tries to explain how the choices we make define who we are. Lincoln gets interrupted by Alexander, who calls him back to work. They are both janitors, cleaning recording studios while fooling around and teasing each other. Lincoln has a dream of becoming a YouTube celebrity, and he spends every second he has trying to create content people might actually like. While taking a break, Alexander asks about his side hustle of creating content, calling them silly videos that nobody likes to watch. He discourages him about his work, but this does not seem to bother him, as he believes that someone out there likes his work. Jessie Ray, a Midwestern NIU communications student, is motivated, passionate, and inspired by Lincoln. She is traveling to Los Angeles, California, for research to pursue her dreams and work on her thesis project for social media. Halfway there, she runs out of gas and seems kind of lost. She stops on the side of the road to look around and hopefully find her way to California, when a car drives by and stops to help her out. A young man comes out of the car and asks if she is lost or if her car broke down. She says she thinks it's both, and accepts his offer to bring her gas for the car, as there was a gas station nearby. She orders premium gas, and the man jokes about it, as her car is a bit old. She sits around, waiting for him. When he gets back, she is beyond thankful for his help. The man helps her out and pours the gas in her car, clueless as to why she is so excited about it. Meanwhile, she takes a few pictures of her octopus toy and asks for the directions to California. They both go their separate ways after the man gives her directions. Jessie Ray drives her car on her way to Los Angeles and listens to music while traveling. She sings along to the radio, watches Lincoln's channel, and seems to enjoy herself. Clearly, she is excited for what is about to happen. Lincoln, finally done with his work, closes the recording studios and notices a note on the door. It's a drawing of a building, with a note saying "You can find me here." He thinks about leaving it behind, but decides to take it with him. He's there at the agreed-upon place on the note, and at the exact time. But whoever left the note is nowhere to be found, so he leaves. On his way back home, he notices Jessie Ray in the parking lot. He looks at her shirt, with his face all over it, and approaches her to ask her about it. She explains that she made it herself, as she is a fan of his show and admires his work. Lincoln, caught off guard, asks her if she'd like to go on a walk. Jessie Ray, without hesitation, accepts his offer. Lincoln and Jessie Ray are getting to know each other while walking around the park. Jessie Ray tells him that she is a big fan of his YouTube blog, and she hasn't missed an episode. Lincoln's unexpected reaction hasn't gone unnoticed, but he hides the fact that he didn't know that someone actually watches his blog, let alone is a fan of his work. Lincoln tells her that he never met a fan in person. While chatting, Lincoln asks about her coming to the City of Angels, to which Jessie Ray jokes and tells him that she is here with the same agenda as anyone else, to take in the fast cars and glamour the city has. Eventually, she decides to tell him the truth. She is working on her research piece about a new media celebrity before her fall semester starts. Clueless, Lincoln tells her that right there, in Los Angeles, finding a celebrity would be easy. She stops and stares at him until he realizes she is referring to him as a media celebrity. She asks his permission to follow him around and observe his work. They both agree on hanging out for the following week, for her research. For the rest of the evening, they chat and exchange experiences and interests. She tells him that she admires his life, saying that he has the most interesting life. Lincoln gets curious about her life and interests, and asks her what she does. She tells him she runs a Tumblr and Instagram account for her 8-legged octopus toy. She also blogs about his adventures. Lincoln sees on her face how much the toy and his channel really mean to her. She has had the toy since she was little, and thought he would think it was a silly thing. To her surprise, he likes her ideas and tells her it's cute and really cool, pretending to talk to the toy. Lincoln takes Jessie Ray to places he finds cool around the town. When she pulls her cell phone and tries to take a sneaky selfie with him, Lincoln does not like the fact that she didn't just ask for the selfie, and tells her to just take a picture with him. Then he takes the cell phone out of her hands, and they both smile for the camera. Jessie Ray politely asks him if he likes the attention he is getting as a celebrity, to which he hides the fact that she is the first fan of his he ever met. He tells her that getting all that attention feels nice. Lincoln goes back to his home, which is a small room with the bare minimum essentials for living. He struggles to open the rusty old door but finally gets in. His friend, Jeff, gets in on his motorbike and rushes out of the door without even paying attention to Lincoln. He calls him by his name and scares him. They discuss the online brand, and Jeff offers his help to Lincoln, telling him he can maintain a successful online presence for him. He also reminds him that the rent is due the following Friday. On the way out, Jeff invites Lincoln to a party at Big Mac's and offers him to move into the house to an actual room, with better living conditions than what he already has, as someone will be moving out soon. Lincoln replies with a simple answer, telling him that he will think about it. The scene ends with Lincoln writing in his journal that today was a good day. Jessie Ray can't find herself a place to spend the night, so she goes by the stadium and covers herself with a blanket under the bleachers, with her octopus by her side. At the Big Mac's party, Lincoln chats with a few girls about a few content ideas they had, but he gets bored pretty easily. When he starts to look around, across the room, he sees Jessie Ray, all alone, and he seems to be pleasantly surprised by her appearance. They exchange their opinions on hipsters and joke around, and both of them seem to have the same opinions on many subjects. They like being in each other's company, and Lincoln actually starts to enjoy the party. While everyone else is minding their own business, they sit on the floor, slowly touching each other's hands, and they both know, at this exact moment, what it all means and where it would lead them. Driven by the moment, they start kissing each other and go to the next room over to have some privacy. The next morning, they wake up on Big Mac's couch, hugging each other. When Big Mac gets in, surprised by their presence, he offers them mimosas. Jessie Ray goes to take a shower while Big Mac brings mimosas. Lincoln thinks he is still drunk, and when Big Mac asks if they slept together, Lincoln can't seem to remember, but he is positive they didn't do it. He looks at a receipt for ticket concerts with a total expense of $419 for Jonas Brothers. When Jessie Ray gets out of the shower, he asks her about it, to which she explains that she spent more than that. She spent $800 because she loves them. That is a cue for Big Mac, and he leaves the room. Jessie Ray shows Lincoln her journal with autographs from celebrities she met, not just the Jonas Brothers, but other celebrities too. He can't understand her affection towards celebrities, as he sees them as regular people. He starts looking at the situation he found himself in differently, and runs out of the house, realizing he may very well be just another one of Jessie's obsessions. Jessie Ray, confused about his reaction, follows him outside. Lincoln wants answers, and he asks her how she ended up spending $800 on tickets. She explains what happened, and then he asks her how she ended up at the party he was at, out of all places in Los Angeles she could have gone to. She admits she followed him because he told her she could observe him. This triggers his anger, as he thinks she was with him because she sees him as a celebrity, instead of who he really is. He crushes her imagination and the way she sees celebrities as perfect people, telling her that nobody is perfect. They are regular, complicated people, like everyone else. She doesn't believe what he says, which makes it easier for Lincoln to drop her. He leaves her behind while she apologizes to him. The next day, at the recording studio Lincoln works in, he finds that he can't get in the room he usually uses for shooting content. His colleague tells him that he can no longer use it. According to their boss, Seth, he needs to focus on doing his actual job now. This leaves Lincoln disappointed, as now, he can't even do the thing he actually likes, shooting for his channel. Jessie Ray, again with nowhere to stay, spends the night at the bleachers. When Faith, the woman Jessie had arranged to stay with when she came to Los Angeles, shows up, Jessie feels relieved. At least she has a place to sleep at night now. Back at the recording studio Lincoln works at, he is having a break with his colleague, Alexander. They have an honest moment together as Alexander points out Lincoln's mistakes, like him being rude and treating people badly. Lincoln admits his mistakes and apologizes to Alexander. When Alexander pulls out a camera out of his pocket and gives it to Lincoln, he really appreciates the present. The whole ordeal lifts up his mood. He now has his own resources to pursue his dreams. At Faith's home, she apologizes to Jessie for leaving her at the bleachers, and admits that it might have been a scary and weird experience, as she tells her a scary story about the place. They follow each other on Instagram. When Faith sees the picture with Lincoln, Jessie introduces him as the guy she came to see, a YouTube celebrity, and a guy she really likes. But she thinks that she doesn't have a shot at it, and compares their relationship to a one-way street because she scared him away. This intrigues Faith, who encourages Jessie to go for it, to not miss her opportunity, and let Lincoln go that easily. At that same moment, Jessie receives a text from him. They meet at the last bookstore and hang out there, talking. Jessie enjoys it there, the books and the smell of it, but Lincoln is the opposite of her. He hates the smell, and the fact that the store doesn't have new books. Jessie tells him that he is perfect. Even though he doesn't see it, she thinks he really is perfect. Jessie opens up to him, telling him she wants to get to know him, the real him, and he admits that he wants the same things she does. They walk around the store as they exchange experiences. She tells him high school stories, music bands she liked back when she was a teenager, and painful stories from her past. On their way out, they grab each other's hands and walk together. They bond over lunch and come to an agreement to film a web series together, along with her octopus toy. Their relationship seems to be going well. They go hiking together and bond over stuff they both like. At the hiking trail, Jessie starts asking him about his blog and talks about other YouTube celebrities. She pulls her phone out of her pocket and starts recording. When Lincoln notices this, he again doesn't like the fact that she is mixing their professional and private relationships. He decides that they need to set boundaries. They agree on it and discuss the thing they have. When it comes to putting a label on it and defining what they are, they both agree that nowadays, dating doesn't exist. You either have a thing and get married, or you don't. Lincoln takes Jessie to the Hollywood sign. She doesn't seem too amazed by it, and says that it is not what she expected. They fool around, pulling each other's hair and chasing each other as the trip comes to an end. In the next scene, Lincoln tries to find the perfect title for the content they filmed at the Hollywood Trail, with Jeff giving a few titles to help him out. Suddenly, Jeff's beverage falls out of his hands, right on Lincoln's tapes. It is at this moment that Jeff realizes how much it all means to Lincoln, and how committed he is to his blog. While cleaning the carpet and the tapes, Jeff mentions to Lincoln that he actually knows what Lincoln is doing. He saw the mail he keeps getting and knows he is internet famous. Lincoln and Jessie film their next blog at the farmer's market, with the octopus playing a major role in their blog. They enjoy each other's company while having a carrot fight and talking about their future together. But the relationship soon becomes complicated, as the more time they spend together, the more they get to know one another and who they truly are. In the following scene, Jessie enjoys the day with Faith in the park, having a picnic together while they chat about everything: celebrities, the life in Los Angeles, and weird connections between the celebrities. Lincoln again takes Jessie to other landmarks in Los Angeles. They both explore the city together while filming content for their blog with Big Mac's help. When security approaches the dock and asks them for their permit to film there, they admit that they don't have one, and leave. Jessie gets annoyed by the fact that Lincoln didn't push the security on letting them film there by telling him who he really is, that he is a famous YouTube celebrity. After being left alone, Lincoln asks her if she likes doing what they do, as she seems distracted and on edge. She tells him that she has to do it, as it is part of her thesis, but that doesn't answer his question. He reminds her that he asked her if she likes doing what they do, to which she tells him that she does like it, but they both wonder if their content is even good. Still, even if it isn't, they both agree that it's a good thing to have something that is only theirs, something they both committed to and created together. After they have their moment, they go back shooting as the security leaves the area, but Big Mac no longer wants to do it. He doesn't feel that it is a good use of his time as an adult person, as he has real life to get back to, and a wife he needs to take home from work. Lincoln tells him that he only wants to include him in their project so he doesn't feel left out. This triggers Big Mac's anger, and he tells him that the only reason everybody invites Lincoln to parties and hangouts is because they all feel sorry for him. They do it out of pity. The situation gets heated. While arguing, they rip off the octopus's leg. Lincoln knows how much the octopus meant to Jessie, as she had it since she was little. He throws himself at Big Mac, and the security approaches again and arrests them. The scene ends with Jessie and Lincoln kissing at the sunset, with handcuffs around their wrists. At the Sunset Rock, they talk about the content they made, how good it was and that people would want to see it. Lincoln opens up a subject that comes heavy on him. He asks her when she has to go back, and she tells him that maybe never, explaining that she can take a semester off or transfer to Los Angeles. She mentions that Northwestern University won't miss her. This comes as a surprise to Lincoln, as she had told him that she was a student at NIU. He's confused and surprised by the thought that she might be lying about everything. He asks her to explain why she came to Los Angeles if it's not for her school project, and she admits to him that she lied about her project, but that it doesn't even matter, since everything else they've been through was true. He asks her if she is a celebrity stalker, and she denies it and tells him that he knows that she is more than that. Finally, he says it out loud, the only fact he kept to himself, that he is not a famous person, that the thing she was after is only her illusion. The studio she left her first note for where to find her is not his. He tells her that he is a janitor there, and that those subscribers he has on YouTube are paid for. She tells him that it finally makes sense to her, that the character he plays on his blog is perfect, and Lincoln is immature and mean. He faces her with the truth, which is that she projects and idolizes perfectionism that doesn't exist. Everyone is complicated and messed up. She tries to patch things up, telling him that all of it doesn't matter as they both lied. She wanted him to be someone he isn't, and he lied about who he really is. This really gets to him, and he breaks the films they made together for their blog. Both disappointed about the mess they are in, Jessie leaves him, and she forgets her octopus behind. Full of anger, he throws away the laptop and regrets it afterwards. He collects the broken pieces out of it and heads home. In the next scene, Lincoln is all alone back at his room. He doesn't know what to do with himself, so he takes Jeff's bike and heads towards the beach. He walks around and does a lot of thinking. After a while, Jeff runs towards him with the golf club, not knowing who he really is, as Lincoln still has the helmet on. He throws himself at Lincoln but stops when he takes the helmet out of his head, scared to death. Lincoln explains why he took the bike and apologizes. Jessie, on the other hand, has trouble getting in her car, as she left her car keys inside her car. Followed by a few unfortunate events, she decides to light up a cigarette, when someone approaches and tells her that she cannot do it, as it is a public area, and she can't smoke there. She tries to reach Faith, but when she doesn't answer the phone, Jessie can't take it anymore and has a meltdown, screaming repeatedly that she hates the city. She sits down on the ground, not knowing what to do with herself anymore as everything falls apart. In the next scene, Lincoln and Jeff are chatting at the beach while Jeff makes a sandcastle. Jeff becomes pretty honest with Lincoln. He tells him that he focuses too much on other people liking him, when not hating himself is more important than that. If he starts being who he really is and doing what he actually likes doing, people will actually start liking him for real. In the following scene, Jessie drives her car and gets hit by someone from behind. They both stop. The man gets out of his car, apologizing to her about it, and they exchange info and agree to leave it to the insurance company to take care of the rest. The guy is very thankful for resolving this pretty easily and leaves the area, when a girl from across the street comes out screaming. She tells Jessie that he is this big, famous YouTube celebrity, to which Jessie doesn't react very positively. She tells her that he is just a person who jacked her car, and that being a celebrity doesn't even mean anything at that point. With that being said, she surprises herself with her answer, not knowing that her idea of celebrities changed this much since she met Lincoln. The next scene starts as Lincoln overhears someone quitting their job at the recording studio, as he and Alexander were cleaning their space. He finally gathers courage and asks for a promotion. Lincoln gets a job and works in the mail room. Alexander, his janitor colleague, gets positively surprised by this and really supports him. He tells him that it really is a big deal, and he should call someone close. He has to celebrate the news, joking that he cannot be the only friend he has. Excited, Lincoln leaves the studios. After this major thing for him, getting a real job, Lincoln finally takes matters into his own hands to improve himself and his life. With Jeff's help, he moves out of his room into a really nice room with a functional door. He decides to delete the channel and leave things behind him, so he does. When he sorts out his belongings, he sees a note. It is the shooting schedule for their blog on a paper, written by Jessie, and it makes him think. The movie ends with Jessie at the beach, writing a letter to Lincoln. She gets distracted when she receives a text message from him, and immediately drives herself to the bleachers. There, she sees a note, the shooting schedule for their blog, and her octopus toy she had left at the Sunset Rock, with the sewn-up leg. As Lincoln is nowhere to be found, she heads to Hollywood's Walk of Fame and calls him. He admits he liked the feeling of being treated and getting the attention as a celebrity, even if it was only with her. She admits that she has flaws too, and that he is not the only one to blame. They apologize to each other for lying, as they both were scared for something. Jessie tells him that she finally can see who he really is, and she can finally see him as a real person. Being a celebrity doesn't mean anything to her anymore, because she realizes that everyone is complicated and messed up in their own way, and that is actually what makes everyone an imperfect, but real, person. Being real is the only thing that matters.